Will the Titleist Pro V1 ever be dethroned? Well, we're going to find out with a cheaper golf ball today at the amazing Gatwick Golf Studio. We've got the GC Quad and we're going to hit some shots with this golf ball here, the OnCore VERO X1. You may not have heard of OnCore, but it has actually become a little bit more popular in the last 5 years. I'm actually seeing a few of these OnCore golf balls on the golf course, as well as the OnCore Elixir as well. So there are some different models which I'll talk about later on in this video. The OnCore VERO X1 is their tour golf ball, a 4-piece golf ball coming in at $40 a dozen, so around $3.33 for each golf ball. That is quite a little bit cheaper than the Pro V1. Not that much cheaper now in today's market, but enough for us to compare it to the Pro V1 and see what the big differences are. At 85 compression and being a 4-piece golf ball, this is for the faster swing speed player, but it's supposed to be the tour's most forgiving golf ball. What on earth does that mean? We're going to hit some chip shots, then some 7-iron shots, and then some driver shots just here on the GC Quad. See the differences between the OnCore and the Pro V1. Talk about the feel as well. I don't think this ball will beat the Pro V1, but I think it's going to be closer than we all think. Let's hit some chip shots. Sit. Ah. It's nippy. Get in. Get in. Get in. Oh. Oh, that was ugly. It bottomy, that one. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Bit more acceleration through it, that one. Spin gone up, yeah. Right. Chip shots, I think, is more feel than the data we're actually getting, but you can see there is a slight difference in the backspin that we're getting between the OnCore and the Pro V1. Pro V1 spinning at about 200 to 300 RPM more. I would take that with a pinch of salt because the strike pattern is always going to be a little bit different when you're not a PGA Tour player testing this out. But other than that, you can see it's pretty similar. The OnCore launching slightly higher and spinning a little bit less, whereas the Pro V1 is launching a little bit lower and spinning a bit more. The most notable thing I would say about this introduction session of this 50-yard chip shots is the way it feels. I think the OnCore VERO X1 doesn't feel actually as premium as the Titleist. It feels slightly clicky and a little bit harder than the Pro V1 itself. I wouldn't say I'm too surprised by that, but for a 4-piece 85 compression golf ball, perhaps it's going to excel at the higher swing speeds, maybe when I'm going up to a 7-iron in a driver. You're still going to get a lot of spin around the greens with these numbers, but I would pick the Pro V1 in this instance quite easily based on feel alone. It is a little bit softer and a little bit pleasing off the club face from wherever you hit it. So a slight difference so far, but let's move up to a 7-iron now and see what happens. Okay, back to the OnCore for the 7-iron. What I will say, just as a little note, my irons are spinning too low right now. So we're going to see with the Pro V1 and the OnCore, my 7-iron's probably spinning around 5,000 RPM. That's nothing to do with the golf ball. It's to do with my irons and that they're not actually the right setup for me right now. So take that into consideration when you're seeing these numbers. I wish it would just stop going left. God, that was a bad strike. Got away with that one. Get in. Can't hit it much better than that with a 7-iron. Good swing. Good swing. Get in. Get in. All right. So I think I can see something already with those numbers just from a quick glance, which I'll confirm right now. So those numbers there are agreeing with the 50-yard chip shots we did. The Pro V1 with the 7-iron was spinning at 4,882 RPM. Very low spin, I know, but let's just ignore that for 1 second. Deviation at 265, not too bad. Then if we're looking at the OnCore VERO X1, the backspin was 4,303. So about 500 RPM lower. Now, you may think this is bad, but I'm instantly looking at that OnCore ball being, is this a low spinning ball, almost like the Pro V1 left dash that we could use, the faster swinging players could use? Because we're not really losing anything in terms of ball speed. You can see 1.5-ish or so, 1.7 mile an hour ball speed loss on the OnCore, but not robot, so I wouldn't really look at that at all. But launch angle a little bit lower and carrying 1 degree more, but rolling out to a little bit more. So the OnCore is looking like a really low spinning golf ball. In terms of how it feels, I can't really notice that big of a difference in terms of feel for the OnCore VERO X1 comparing to the Pro V1 for a 7-iron. There's nothing too significant. If I had to really pick, I would say that the Pro V1 again feels a little bit softer, but it depends as to what you prefer, because I think a lot of people are thinking soft and think that's a good thing. When it goes into full shots, such as 7-iron and drivers, I actually prefer a harder golf ball. So I would actually lean towards the OnCore VERO X1 for the feel for the 7-iron, but I think it may be very different for driver, because I'm gonna swing out of my shoes for it and see what happens. Not when you slice it. Ugh. It's like 10 degrees out to in. Oh, it really is. Better? Better. Yeah? Okay. Spinny. Instantly spinny, I think. Just spinny. I know it's off the heel, but come on. So that was a good strike, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, still. Okay. Well then. Right. So I think the main thing we can see there is that I do need a lesson for my driver, going very out to in. But nevertheless, the strike pattern was a little bit worse for the Pro V1 out of those selection of golf balls, but nothing that significant. So if we're looking at the numbers here and comparing it, you can see there's actually quite a clear difference for spin rate. Again, all actually agreeing with the previous session with 7-iron and with a lob wedge from 50 yards. Looking at the backspin at 2,366 as an average for the OnCore VERO X1, the Pro V1 is going at 2,954. I myself spin the golf ball a lot with the driver due to my angle of attack and the delivery of the golf ball, but that still is quite high for me, even with that out to in swing path. When I do hit it across the heel, it does tend to spin a little bit more. So I don't think the difference is that dramatic. That's a good 600 RPM difference. I would say it's more about 300 RPM difference, but you can see their launch is pretty similar at 13.1 and 13.2 degrees, with the Pro V differentiating a little bit more. And you can see that the ball speed is slightly higher as well at 168. That is because I did just strike it better, not down to the golf ball itself. But what's really interesting is that overall spin rate, and I did hit the OnCore VERO X1's straighter. Now, because of the way it feels from the 7-iron and driver, I don't think it would particularly be for everyone. I think the Pro V1, for the masses of golfers, probably will prefer the Pro V1 over the VERO X1. But if you want a low spinning golf ball, it looks like that the VERO X1 is in that top position. I wonder if it'll be lower spinning than the left dash. Who knows? I don't think so. I think with a more of a robot testing, it wouldn't be as low spinning. But for $40, that's not bad at all. Guys, let me know what you thought of the data in this video, and if you have used any of the OnCore balls. There will be more coming soon next year, and check our website for further reviews of the different golf balls. Now, the OnCore Elixir is a very good ball. If you want me to do anything with that, let me know. To the next video, guys, I'll catch you later.